What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see behind me here, it's kind of a family affair down at the shop today. We got Kathy there, we got Squirt here hanging out hiding, and Penny and Rosie are running around back here somewhere. I can hear them barking. But anyway, so on today's episode, we're going to continue our quest on Homer. I'll kind of give you an update on why the engine bay is empty, and that's just because I'm an idiot. And I'll show you what we got going on. All right, so Kathy's working on stripping the body all the way back down. She's gonna go ahead and get all these stickers off the car, off the glass, the rear window. Squirt is actually gonna get on the inside here and get all this old 70s tint off, get it removed, and get all this ready. I'm actually gonna dive into this trunk, well, you know, what's left of it, try to get this cleared out and make kind of like a makeshift pan for in here. Got some sheet metal laying over there. Nothing pretty, right? We're just gonna get it to where it's anchored, sealed, and sturdy enough to hold a fuel cell, you know, battery box, all that jazz in this general area. Same with this side. They're gonna get all these decals off here. I'm gonna try to do a little bit of something with this whiskey dent, but if I can, I can't. I'm not really worried about it. Greta's gonna disappear for a minute, but I promise you, she will be back on the car. She's our biggest fan, you know. And then the last thing we're gonna do is tackle this, but I'm gonna do some pretty cool stuff in here, so I'm gonna save that for last. And then, a lot of you have seen my post on the community post. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go there. I'll explain to you everything that happened there. I'm an idiot. But the engine will be back next week and we will build this all back. But this time, make sure I've got oil in it. So, oh, I didn't show you this. I didn't film this just because I was down here in mellow mode, right? I was enjoying working by myself. Didn't have the cameras down here. Just didn't record anything. But I do have Homer's cooling system ready to go. Fit beautiful in here. I did have to make some brackets for both sides. Actually cut those out of that same steel I've got over there. Sanded them down real nice, painted them, got new hardware, got all this mounted. Then got the new dual fans, got it ready to be wired in, so that is good to go. There's Penny and Rosie. You know, Penny's the burnout dog. Everybody worries to death about, which I get, but they're both down here just playing, being dogs. So anyway, let's get to work. We're gonna let them go ahead. Kathy's already got, that's Omer now, so the H is gone. She's gonna work her way down, get all this off. I'm gonna get Squirt up inside there. She's gonna get all this tin off. As you can see, it's just squares, all kind of glued together. Then we'll get all these stickers off here and get ready to paint this body, and it's gonna look sick. I can't wait till we get to it. Get the wheels put on. But we're coming together here. So, all right, let's get to work. All right, good deal. Squirt got the window all cleaned out in here, got all that 70s tint off there. And she's working on the stickers, which is looking really awesome. Kathy's over there working on the Homer decals, and I'm back here getting this worked on. Got to get this tank the rest of the way out, and you can see like I have, you know, little to no floor left. But anyway, let's get this tank out real quick. I filled this thing up with racing fuel at Bristol, and now I'm trying to get it out of here without, you know, blowing myself up. All right. Yeah, this thing's plumb full. Oh my Lord. All right, cool. The tank's out and it is plumb full racing fuel, so I got to get that thing out of my shop. So I'll be back with you in a minute. We're going to get this out of here. Dogs are just, they're just having fun. Kathy's killing it on the decals, getting them off. So let's keep plugging away. I gotta get this thing out of here. All right, guys, I've got the biggest section of the rot out of the middle here. So now what I'm doing is, you can see on this one, I'm just skinning back off the old spot welds from the original 4-pan and just rolling it back, kind of like this. Kind of hard to do with one hand, but you get the gist of it. So I'm gonna roll these back, cut them off, do the same thing here, get this cut out, finish cutting and peeling the rest of this back, get the rod out, I don't know, about 3 inches from the edge, all the way around, and then I'll go over there and cut out something remotely close to a pan here. We'll get it all riveted down or welded down, whatever, and then we'll have a nice stable surface for our fuel cell, battery box, anything else we decide to put back here. All right, you can see the square edge here, so we know where our next frame rail is. So we'll stay away from that, follow that edge, and here's our next edge. So we'll just continue over, cut this out back. We've got good metal here, so we'll leave this metal, and then we'll trim out the rot, the same on the other side, and get the rod out the best we can, and then we'll replate it and be done with it. That's always a good reason to wear a mask. That blade just shattered. Fortunately, once shooting off into the car, I had the direction going away from me. Wear a mask and try to protect yourself the best you can, because that could have been really bad if it had come back the other way. Safety tip of the day right there. You know, I mean, honestly, you should actually have the cover on like the manufacturer recommends, but I didn't do that, but I had the mask on anyway. All right, cool. Let me get the rest of this trimmed out. All right, guys, we got the inner part of the trunk as clean as I'm gonna fool with it. Because keep in mind, this is a burnout car, so let me flip you around. All right, so we got everything trimmed out as far as like the major rot. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is clean this up, and then I'm gonna make a panel here, get it all attached in and ready, and then I'll make the inner tubs. Or not the inner tubs, but the inner corners of the trunk pan. Because, I mean, let's not fool anybody. I'm not going to be able to make, you know, all these curves in here. I mean, I'm just not that patient. I'll have it all jacked up. So I'll make this piece first, which is 31 by 44. And then I'll cut this section in, make a stencil for those curves, and we'll get it built. All right, guys, I got my first piece of steel for the main center section of the trunk pan. So this is 31 by 44. We'll get this set kind of temporarily put where we're gonna need it. And then we'll cut our inside sections out of a piece here somewhere. Trace our lines, get everything where we need it. And then we'll take it back out, get everything cleaned, put it back in, get everything welded back down, screwed back down, riveted back down, whatever we can do. Then we'll paint it, and then we'll get ready to get our stuff set in the trunk. All right, guys, we made short work of that piece of 4x8 steel. Now, some of you may be wondering, this is 20 gauge steel, just a sheet of it. And I actually used some of this for another panel that I made for the original Homer, which is now a parts car. So let me show you what I've done. Kathy got all this good and cleaned off and ready to go. So we'll do a little bit of body work here. I gotta get rid of this trim, that trim, so on and so forth. Show you this other side as well. She started over here and got this door done. She may come back down today and finish up this side, but as you know, she's got other things of her own to do. So anyway, so what I do is generally I keep cereal boxes down here. You know, after Squirt finishes up her cereal, I keep the boxes. And they're easy to make templates out of, especially when you've got areas with curves and special cuts and what have you. Now keep in mind, I am not a fabricator like whatsoever. I mean, I wing it at best, but it turns out okay. Kind of like the mechanic part of it. I'm not a mechanic either, but I wing it at best. So, you know, it is what it is. So let me spin you around, show you what we got. Now right now this looks kind of barbaric, I get it, but here's our center section, and then here's our inserts for both sides, okay? So now remember, I've got a frame rail that runs through here, and then I've got another rail that runs right through here where I've got the overlap, okay? Same on this side. So the plan is to get this final like massaged to where it's folded down into here pretty well. This is the old hump for the fuel neck. So we'll get this massaged down where it sits good and flush. Get it mounted. I'm probably going to run bolts, 4 bolts down each frame rail to pull this down tight. Then we'll do the same thing here, same thing over there, get everything pulled down good and tight. And it's also going to kind of help support if I tap the wall. And then we'll shoot a bead of weld up through here, bead of weld up through there, get this all good and connected. Same thing around the edges where we can find some good metal. And then we'll get some seam sealer, kind of like they did the factory, and seam seal every bit of this around here where there's, you know, any gaps or overlaps or, you know, so on and so forth. But this is all going to set down nice and flush like so. And we'll clean up those edges up there and there. And this will be a good functional truck pan. It'll be safe. We'll put our fuel cell, our battery box, whatever else we decide to shove back here. We're going to have a kill switch. And then we'll do the same for right here to seal all this in. Seam seal it all in real nice, make it nice and safe. And then if something, God forbid, explodes back here, I'm protected up there, which is the goal, you know, ultimately the goal anyway. So yeah, and then we'll take, and what I generally like to do is clean all this back up, and I use rhino lining, like truck bed covering or whatever you want to call it. And I'll do the entire surface in here, up in there, and seal this in as best as I can absolutely get it. We'll put a new rubber trim up around the trunk section here, if you will, where the trunk lid goes. Because during the burnouts, generally this trunk, if you've ever watched them, is open. It's kind of like a gag, right? It just flops around. So, yeah. I don't know, but we're going to keep playing with it, but I'm super tickled with that. I know it's not like concourse quality, but it's going to be secure, it's going to be safe, and it's going to look nice. You know what I mean? We'll get a couple straps over here to go over the fuel cell, bolt them right into the frame as well. Might even use the same bolt hole for one of these to do so. But we're going to fab this up and make it look nice. Cool. Shoot, yeah, guys. Turned out stellar. Now, this is still wet, so we'll let it dry up throughout today. Got a little bit of a difference here. I think it's just may have been from the other can I used. I'm not sure, but I'm sure it's going to dry up the same. Texture looks good. But nice, clean seams here and here. Everything turned out really well. Now again, this isn't like ship foods type work. This is just a nice, sturdy platform for our fuel cell and our battery box. And again, whatever else decides to go back here. But anyway, turned out great. I love it. So we're going to let this dry and set up. Probably put a second coat on it. And then we'll get the fuel cell and stuff put in here. But we're getting there one piece at a time. I love it. All right, guys. We're just going to let everything cure up for a couple days. Let this set. And then we'll set the fuel cell, the battery box, start getting stuff set up for the fuel lines. And then once the engine gets back, we'll put that back in, get that done, or as done as we can. And then, yeah, we'll start on the interior, start running fuel lines and all that jazz. Girls did a killer job today. They got this body, for the most part, taken care of. Kathy's going to finish up this part. We'll see what we can do about this little dent right here. And then we'll start getting that ready for paint here in a couple weeks, or maybe next week. You never know. We just got to wait and see what this engine does. I'd rather get it painted before we go ahead and set the engine in, hopefully, for the final time. Radiator turned out sweet. Love it. But yeah. So we're just going to let this settle up for a couple days. Cure up real nice. And then we'll get everything put in there. So I appreciate you hanging out with us today. It's been awesome. And all right, we'll catch you next time. BRG out.